B&B spoilers. Deacon doesn't want to spend another day married to Sheila Carter. The bold and the beautiful fans have been counting down the days until all hell breaks loose and Deacon Sharp, Sean Kennan, dumps Sheila Carter, Kimberlyn Brown. Sheila's husband has eyes for another woman, and there's no denying the sparks flying. Deacon's marriage is as good as over. He's just too scared to tell his wife. And we don't blame him. Will Deacon profess his love for Taylor Hayes next week and tell Sheila Carter he wants a divorce? Keep reading to find out. B&B spoilers down below. Sheila is delulu about her marriage. Anyone with two eyes can see that Deacon doesn't want to be with Sheila anymore. In fact, Sheila Carter is really the only person who hasn't figured out that her marriage is as good as over. Technically, Deacon agreed to give his relationship with Sheila another shot, but his heart is clearly not into it. The bold and the beautiful spoilers say that next week Deacon will continue having secret sessions with his therapist Taylor Hayes. But soon they are going to be doing a whole lot more than just talking about Deacon's feelings. The chemistry between Taylor and Deacon is undeniable. It's only a matter of time before the doc and her patient cross a line and hit the sheets. Deacon's stalling for obvious reasons. Before the New Year's celebrations in Los Angeles are over next week, Deacon will probably drop the D word on his unsuspecting wife. The Il Giardino owner also has to worry about his restaurant and is probably scared that his wife could own half of it if the breakup isn't amicable. Rumor has it Sheila might even walk in on Deacon and Taylor sharing a steamy kiss. B&B spoilers say Taylor is going to want to invest in a top-of-the-line security system if she's going to keep seeing Deacon. Do you think Sheila will attack Taylor when the truth comes out? Is she in danger? Are you rooting for the new couple? The air in the apartment above Il Giardino has always been thick, sometimes with passion, often with secrets, but lately, with the suffocating weight of reality. For months, the bold and the beautiful fans have watched the unlikely, twisted, and strangely domestic union of Deacon Sharp and Sheila Carter. It was the bad boy and the she-devil finding solace in the shadows. But today, the shadows have finally grown too long. In a heartbreaking turn of events that has sent shockwaves through the B&B fandom, Deacon Sharp has reached his breaking point. The man who risked his reputation, his relationship with his daughter Hope, and his literal freedom to harbor the Valley's most notorious villain has uttered the words nobody, especially Sheila, saw coming. I can't spend another day married to you. The breaking point, a love built on quicksand. To understand why this news is so devastating, we have to look at what Deacon sacrificed to be with Sheila. This wasn't just a romance, it was a crusade. Deacon truly believed he was the only person on earth who saw the real Sheila. He defended her when the foresters called for her head. He hid her when the police were at the door, and he married her when the rest of the world looked at her with pure, unadulterated loathing. However, the very sad news hitting the screen today reveals the tragic truth. You cannot love the monster out of someone who isn't ready to let go of the chaos. The cracks started appearing weeks ago. Every time Deacon tried to bridge the gap with Hope or the Logans, Sheila's presence acted like a tether, dragging him back into the murky depths of social pariahdom. The realization didn't come in a flash of lightning, but in a slow, painful simmer. Deacon looked at his life and realized that while he was trying to build a future, Sheila was still perpetually anchored to her past sins. The confrontation, tears, truths, and the final straw. The scenes playing out today are a masterclass in emotional vulnerability. Sean Kennan, Deacon, delivers a performance that captures the exhaustion of a man who has simply run out of excuses. I thought I could be your anchor, Sheila, Deacon whispered in a voice cracked with emotion. But instead, I'm just drowning with you. I look at you and I don't see a partner anymore. I see the reason I'm losing my soul. Sheila, portrayed with chilling desperation by Kimberlyn Brown, didn't go down without a fight. We saw the classic Sheila transition, from the weeping, misunderstood wife to the cornered predator. She reminded him of their us against the world pact. She reminded him that she chose him when no one else would. But that was the problem. Deacon realized that Sheila didn't choose him because she loved him. She chose him because he was the only person left who would tolerate her. Why this news is so sad for fans. Why does this feel like such a blow to the B&B community? The death of redemption. For a long time, viewers hoped Deacon would be the key to Sheila's ultimate redemption arc. If she could be a good wife to Deacon, maybe there was hope for her as a mother to Finn. With Deacon walking away, that hope is officially dead. The isolation of Deacon Sharp. Deacon is now a man without a country. He alienated the Logans and the Forresters to be with Sheila. By ending this marriage, he is stepping out into a very cold, lonely world where forgiveness is not guaranteed. The return of dangerous Sheila. We all know what happens when Sheila Carter feels rejected. A Sheila with love in her heart is a nuisance. A Sheila with a broken heart is a catastrophe. This breakup signals the end of the domesticated Sheila and the return of the woman who will stop at nothing to get what she wants. The ripple effect. What this means for the rest of the canvas. This isn't just a breakup between two people in a small apartment. It's a hand grenade thrown into the center of Los Angeles. Hope Logan's precarious position. Hope has been the most vocal critic of this union. You might think she'd be happy, but the sadness of this news lies in the damage already done. Can she ever fully trust her father again? Deacon has proven that his judgment is compromised. Even if Sheila is gone, the stain of his choice remains. Finn and Steffi's brief moment of peace. John Finnegan has been caught in an impossible tug-of-war. With Deacon cutting ties, the buffer between Sheila and the rest of the world is gone. Steffi will undoubtedly see this as a win, but she should be careful what she wishes for. A Sheila with nothing to lose is far more terrifying than a Sheila trying to play house. The Il Giardino legacy. What happens to the business? What happens to the daily life Deacon has built? He is essentially choosing to burn his current life down to save whatever shred of integrity he has left. A legacy of heartbreak. Was it ever real? As we process this very sad news, we have to ask, was the love between Deacon and Sheila ever real? In many ways, it was the most honest relationship on the show. Neither was perfect. Both were outcasts. There was a raw, gritty reality to their scenes that stood in stark contrast to the polished marble halls of Forrester Creations. Seeing that raw connection shatter is genuinely tragic. They were two broken pieces that seemed to fit together, even if the edges were jagged. Deacon's decision to end the marriage is an admission of defeat. It's an admission that love is not always enough to overcome a dark history. Today's What Happens Next and the beautiful spoilers deliver a wave of heartbreak that fans saw coming, but still hoped might never arrive. In a stunning, emotional unraveling, Deacon Sharp reaches a devastating realization. He doesn't want to spend another day married to Sheila Carter. What began as a dangerous love story fueled by redemption fantasies and forbidden passion is now collapsing under the weight of fear, regret, and the harsh truth about who Sheila really is. For viewers who dared to believe that love could change even the darkest soul, this news cuts especially deep. A love story built on hope and denial. From the moment Deacon and Sheila said, "I do," their marriage felt like a ticking time bomb. Deacon convinced himself, against all logic and warnings, that Sheila deserved another chance. He believed that with enough love, patience, and stability, even someone with Sheila's past could find redemption. But that belief came at a cost. Friends, family, and even casual acquaintances warned Deacon that marrying Sheila Carter was not an act of bravery. It was an act of denial. Still, Deacon pushed forward, clinging to the idea that he saw a side of Sheila no one else did. He told himself that the woman who smiled at him, cooked meals with him, and whispered dreams of a quiet life was the real Sheila. Now that illusion is shattering. The moment everything changes. According to today's spoilers, Deacon experiences a moment that cuts straight through his defenses. It's not just one argument or one disturbing revelation. It's a realization that settles into his bones. Sheila hasn't changed. She may hide it better. She may cry more convincingly. She may speak the language of remorse with practiced ease. But beneath the surface, Sheila Carter remains the same unpredictable, dangerous force she has always been. And Deacon finally sees it. Sources tease that Deacon is haunted by the constant tension of living with Sheila. Every knock at the door feels like a threat. Every raised voice sends his heart racing. He's exhausted from defending her, terrified of what she might do next, and ashamed of the damage her presence has caused in his life. Most heartbreaking of all, Deacon realizes that love should not feel like survival. Living in fear is not living at all. One of the saddest elements of the storyline is how deeply it exposes Deacon's internal struggle. He didn't marry Sheila out of malice or manipulation. He married her because he believed in second chances, because he wanted to prove that people aren't defined forever by their worst mistakes. But now, Deacon is paying the emotional price. Spoilers suggest Deacon is barely sleeping, constantly on edge, and emotionally isolated. The walls of El Giardino, once a place of warmth and second chances, now feel like a cage. Sheila's presence dominates every moment, every thought, every decision. He's not living with a partner. He's living with a question mark. And Deacon is finally admitting something painful. He doesn't trust his own wife. Sheila Carter, the unchangeable truth. For Sheila, this realization threatens everything she has fought for. Being married to Deacon gave her legitimacy, stability, a foothold in a world that has rejected her again and again. Sheila truly believes, or wants to believe, that Deacon is her safe place, and in her own twisted way, she may even love him. But love, for Sheila, has always come tangled with obsession, control, and desperation. Spoilers hint that Sheila senses Deacon pulling away. She notices the distance in his eyes, the hesitation in his voice, the way he flinches when she raises certain topics. And that awareness could be incredibly dangerous, because when Sheila feels abandoned, history tells us she does not let go quietly. Deacon's guilt may be his greatest weakness. Even as Deacon realizes he wants out, he's paralyzed by guilt. He knows what leaving Sheila could trigger. He knows her past. He knows how rejection affects her. And that knowledge traps him. Today's spoilers reveal Deacon wrestling with the idea that staying might be safer for everyone than leaving. But deep down, he understands the tragic irony. Staying married to Sheila is slowly destroying him. Deacon doesn't want another dramatic confrontation. He doesn't want another headline, another scandal, another bloodstain on his conscience. He just wants peace. And peace is something Sheila Carter has never been able to offer. What this means for Deacon's future. If Deacon truly decides he can't spend another day married to Sheila, everything changes. His fragile redemption arc is once again at risk. The man who fought so hard to rebuild his life now stands at another crossroads, one that could either free him or drag him down with Sheila. Will Deacon finally choose himself, or will fear keep him trapped in a marriage that's draining the life out of him? Spoilers tease that Deacon may begin confiding in someone unexpected, someone who sees the toll this marriage is taking and urges him to walk away before it's too late. But walking away from Sheila is never simple. It never ends cleanly. The emotional fallout is inevitable. Fans should brace themselves, because the emotional fallout from this realization will be brutal. Sheila does not respond well to rejection, especially from the one person who believed in her. If Deacon pulls away, Sheila may feel betrayed, exposed, and desperate. That combination is terrifying. There's growing speculation that Sheila may spiral, reverting to old behaviors she swore she left behind. Lies, manipulation, and possibly worse could be just around the corner as she fights to hold onto the life she's built with Deacon. And Deacon? He may soon learn that deciding to leave is only the beginning of the nightmare. A marriage doomed from the start? In hindsight, many fans are calling this marriage exactly what it always was. A tragedy waiting to happen. Deacon wanted to be the man who saved Sheila. Sheila wanted to be the woman who finally won. But neither truly understood what that would cost. Today's very sad news confirms what Bold and the Beautiful has been slowly building toward. Love alone is not enough to erase years of darkness, trauma, and violence. Deacon doesn't want to spend another day married to Sheila Carter because he finally understands a devastating truth. Loving her means losing himself. Fans react, heartbreak and relief. Online reactions are pouring in, and they're deeply divided. Some fans are heartbroken for Sheila, believing this could have been her redemption story. Others feel relief, convinced Deacon needs to escape before irreversible damage is done. What unites everyone is the sadness. This isn't a triumphant breakup. It's not a dramatic revenge plot, at least not yet. It's the quiet collapse of hope, the moment when a man realizes that love has turned into fear. And that kind of ending hurts the most. Final thoughts. A turning point that changes everything. Today's B&B spoilers mark a powerful and painful turning point. Deacon Sharp's realization that he can't spend another day married to Sheila Carter is more than a marital crisis. It's a reckoning. For Deacon, it's the end of a dangerous dream. For Sheila, it could be the beginning of her darkest spiral yet. And for viewers, it's a reminder that even in the world of soap operas, some love stories aren't meant to be saved. As the days ahead unfold, one thing is certain. The fallout from this decision will be explosive, emotional, and very sad and emotionally heavy news from the Bold and the Beautiful. One truth is becoming impossible to ignore. Sheila Carter is completely delusional about her marriage, and the fallout is shaping up to be one of the most heartbreaking implosions the show has seen in years. What Sheila believes is a fairy tale romance is, in reality, a fragile illusion held together by denial, desperation, and fear of abandonment. For weeks, viewers have watched Sheila cling to her marriage as if it's the ultimate proof that she's finally won. One love, one redemption, won a seat at the table she's always been denied. But the cracks are no longer subtle. They're deep, jagged, and bleeding through every interaction. And the saddest part? Sheila truly believes everything is perfect. Sheila's version of reality versus the truth. In Sheila's mind, her marriage isn't just a relationship, it's a validation. She sees it as evidence that she's changed, that she's worthy, that the world was wrong about her all along. Every smile, every shared meal, every forced moment of domestic normalcy is exaggerated in her head into proof of eternal love. But the truth couldn't be more different. Her partner isn't blissfully happy. He isn't fulfilled. He isn't dreaming about growing old together. Instead, he's suffocating, emotionally trapped in a union he no longer believes in. And while Sheila plans futures, anniversaries, and a life against the world, he's quietly counting the days, searching for exits, and emotionally checking out. That disconnect between Sheila's fantasy and reality is what makes this story so devastating. The delusion is stronger than ever. Sheila doesn't just hope her marriage is strong, she needs it to be. Without it, everything she's been telling herself collapses. Without it, she's forced to face a terrifying possibility that despite all her promises to change, despite all her manipulations, she still can't force someone to love her freely. So instead of confronting the warning signs, Sheila rewrites them. Cold behavior becomes stress. Distance becomes space. Lack of affection becomes maturity. Silence becomes understanding. Every red flag is repainted as proof of commitment. Every uncomfortable truth is buried beneath forced optimism and obsessive reassurance. And that's where the tragedy deepens. A marriage built on fear, not love. The most painful truth is this. Sheila's marriage survives not because of love, but because of fear. Fear of what Sheila might do if she's rejected. Fear of retaliation. Fear of emotional consequences. Fear of chaos. That's not romance. That's emotional captivity. While Sheila proudly tells herself she's finally in a stable adult relationship, the foundation is rotten. There's no mutual trust, no emotional safety, no honest communication, just one person clinging and another enduring. And viewers can feel it in every scene, The tension, the forced smiles, the uncomfortable pauses. This marriage isn't growing. It's decaying. Sheila's obsession with proving everyone wrong. One of the saddest layers of this story is Sheila's obsession with optics. She doesn't just want to be married. She wants the world to see her married. She wants Brooke to choke on it. She wants Steffi to panic. She wants Finn to doubt his instincts. She wants everyone who ever warned against her to feel stupid. So when cracks appear, she hides them aggressively. When questions are asked, she deflects. When concern is shown, she lashes out. Because admitting her marriage is failing would mean admitting everyone else was right. And Sheila cannot survive that reality. The emotional isolation is terrifying. Despite being married, Sheila is profoundly alone. She has no real confidants, no one she can be vulnerable with, no one who challenges her gently or lovingly. Her partner has emotionally withdrawn, leaving Sheila to spiral deeper into her own thoughts. And the more alone she feels, the tighter she clings, smothering, pressuring, and unintentionally accelerating the collapse she fears most. It's a vicious cycle. Fear leads to control. Control leads to distance. Distance leads to deeper delusion. And at the center of it all is a woman desperately trying to convince herself that love can be forced into existence. The warning signs she refuses to see. Viewers have noticed it all. The lack of physical affection, the avoidance of future planning, the discomfort whenever commitment is mentioned, the emotional shutdowns, the tension-filled silences. Yet Sheila interprets every sign backwards. When he avoids conversations about the future, she hears taking things slow. When he grows distant, she calls it trust. When he stops arguing, she assumes peace, not resignation. But silence isn't happiness. Compliance isn't love. And endurance isn't devotion. A breakdown is coming, and it won't be quiet. This marriage isn't headed for a gentle ending. There will be no mutual agreement, no calm separation, no quiet goodbye. When Sheila's delusion finally shatters, it's going to be explosive. Because for Sheila, losing this marriage means losing everything she's built her identity around. And historically, when Sheila feels cornered, rejected, or humiliated, she doesn't retreat. She reacts. That's what makes this story so frightening and so tragic. The saddest part, Sheila truly believes this is love. What makes today's news so heartbreaking isn't just the collapse of a marriage. It's the realization that Sheila doesn't know what real love looks like. She confuses possession with partnership, control with commitment, survival with devotion. And because she's never experienced healthy love, she doesn't recognize its absence. She celebrates scraps. She romanticizes tolerance. She worships endurance. In her mind, staying equals loving. In reality, staying equals fear. The inevitable moment of truth. Sooner or later, Sheila will be forced to face the truth she's been avoiding. Her marriage is not a fairy tale, not a victory, not a redemption arc. It's a mirage. And when that realization hits, when the denial crumbles and the fantasy dies, the emotional fallout will be devastating not just for Sheila, but for everyone around her. Because broken delusions are dangerous. Broken hearts even more so. And Sheila Carter has never handled rejection well. Final thoughts. A very sad chapter unfolds. Today's very sad news isn't about villains or heroes. It's about a deeply broken woman clinging to a lie because the truth feels unbearable. Sheila is delulu about her marriage, not because she's cruel, but because she's terrified. Terrified of being alone. Terrified of being unloved. Terrified of being rightfully rejected. And as the bold and the beautiful continues to peel back the layers of this doomed union, one thing is clear. This marriage was never built to last, only to distract Sheila from a truth she can no longer escape. The digital world woke up to a heavy silence today. For anyone who has followed the whirlwind, technicolor journey of the influencer known to millions as Sheila, the latest update regarding her marriage isn't just another headline, it's a gut punch. Social media is currently flooded with the hashtag Sheila, but the tone has shifted. What once started as a light-hearted joke about her delusional optimism and fairy tale expectations has turned into a somber reflection on the end of an era. Today's news confirms what many feared. The perfect marriage that anchored her content has fractured, leaving fans to grapple with the reality behind the Delulu dream. To understand why this news is so devastating, we have to look at how Sheila built her community. In an era of sad fishing and cynical commentary, Sheila was a breath of fresh air. She leaned into the Delulu is the Solulu, delusion is the solution, philosophy, teaching her followers that if you believe in a beautiful life hard enough, you can manifest it into existence. Her marriage was the centerpiece of this manifestation. She didn't just post photos. She curated a world of spontaneous rose petals. Every Tuesday seemed to be a surprise date night. Unfiltered vulnerability. Or so we thought. She spoke about working through small tiffs, making us feel like we were seeing the real work of a relationship. The husband of the year narrative. Her partner was framed as the ultimate support system, the man who stayed behind the camera so she could shine in front of it. For millions of women, Sheila wasn't just an influencer. She was a proof of concept. She was the living evidence that you could be extra, you could be too much, and you could still find a partner who worshipped the ground you walked on. What happened today? The timeline of the news. The very sad news began trickling out in the early hours of the morning. Unlike her usual high-energy uploads, Sheila posted a simple, black and white text slide to her story. No music, no filters, just raw, painful honesty. 1. The sudden silence. Followers noticed a lack of couple content over the last 3 weeks. In the influencer world, silence is often the loudest indicator of a storm. When she finally spoke today, she confirmed that she and her partner have legally separated. 2. The Delulu mask drops. In a follow-up video which has already garnered millions of views, a tearful Sheila addressed the elephant in the room. I realized I was being Delulu about more than just my goals, she whispered. I was being Delulu about my own safety and happiness. 3. The revelation of betrayal. While she remained classy and avoided specific tea, the subtext was clear. The marriage didn't fail because of a lack of love. It failed because of a fundamental breach of trust. The Delulu queen admitted that she had been romanticizing red flags, turning warning signs into wallpaper. Why this hits different, the parasocial grief. You might ask, why are people so upset about a stranger's marriage? The answer lies in the parasocial relationship Sheila built. When an influencer sells a lifestyle based on manifesting the perfect love, their brand becomes a promise to the audience. When that marriage collapses, the audience doesn't just feel bad for the person. They feel a loss of hope for their own lives. If Sheila, with all her beauty, her positivity, and her perfect man, couldn't make it work, what chance do I have? This is the sentiment echoing across TikTok and Twitter, X today. It's a collective mourning of an ideal. The danger of the Delulu mindset. Today's news serves as a cultural turning point. For years, the Delulu trend has encouraged young women to ignore reality in favor of a higher vibration. But as we see with Sheila's very sad news, there is a dark side to constant positivity. The Delulu dreamed the reality Sheila faced, ignoring haters and negativity, ignoring legitimate intuition and red flags, romanticizing the mundane, covering up deep-seated incompatibility, believing love conquers all, realizing love cannot fix a lack of respect. Sheila's admission that she wanted it to work so badly that she lied to herself is perhaps the most relatable thing she has ever posted. It's a heartbreak that isn't just about a breakup. It's about the betrayal of one's own intuition. The community's reaction, a digital vigil. The comment sections are a mix of heartbreak and fierce protection. The supporters, Sheila, you taught us how to love ourselves. Now, show us how to heal ourselves. The skeptics, some are using this as a cautionary tale against oversharing. though these voices are currently being drowned out by the wave of empathy. The Delialoo converts. Many fans are swearing off the Delialoo lifestyle, opting for a new era of radical realism. What's next for Sheila? While today is undeniably sad, it also marks the beginning of a new chapter. Sheila has always been a storyteller. In the past, she told us a fairy tale. Moving forward, she has the opportunity to tell a story of resilience, recovery, and truth. The very sad news of today doesn't have to be the end of her influence. In fact, by dropping the Delialoo act and showing her scars, Sheila might find that her connection with her audience becomes stronger than ever. Authenticity is a much more stable foundation than a curated dream. Final thoughts. As we process the news of Sheila's marriage ending, let it be a reminder to all of us. It is okay to hope, but it is vital to see. Our hearts go out to Sheila today. The internet is a little less bright without her husband and wife skits, but perhaps it's a little more honest now. And in the long run, honesty is the only thing that actually heals.